Hello my good friends and welcome. It's Buck Weezer. You've tuned to Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube. And here in front of me in the shop today, a guy named Jeff brought me an EDGER. And it doesn't start. And we got to figure out why. Legend Force, I've never heard of this brand, don't know where they sell it, don't know anything about it. It looks relatively clean. He said last time he went to use it was no problem, but this time it won't start up. I do not know how big was the interval between when he last had it running and now. But we got to figure out why it won't start and take all the necessary steps to get it back up and running. So I've checked that it's got fuel. I've checked that the oil is full. And I guess our first step is simply to see what it does and what it does not do. Run, choke, throttle is going to be automatic. Up here on the handle we have this red bar. You got to squeeze that to make it run. When you release it, it should ground out the ignition right there. And there's our rope starter. So let me put you up on a tripod and we'll see what happens. Alright, squeeze the bar, choke applied, pull the string. Compression, that seems fine. But yeah, it's not doing anything. Choke off. Still nothing. So that's it. It's time to run our initial test and see what is not working. See how we can get this back up and running. So initial test, which I always like to do, is just to open up the air cleaner and get access to the carburetor. It's our air filter. He can stay right there. And I want to just take some starting fluid, which you can get at any auto parts store, Walmart. Open up the choke plate so that I can just shoot some starting fluid directly into the throat of the carburetor. And then we'll try and see if it is willing to start just on the fuel of starting fluid sprayed directly into the carburetor. So let's see what we get here. Well, there we go. So what did we learn? It does want to run, and when we apply some fuel directly into the throat of the carburetor, artificially, in the form of starting fluid, on a couple of pulls, it does start and run briefly. So it's only running on the starting fluid that we gave it. But we do know it's got the correct compression, the timing seems fine, or it would not have run. It's getting spark, or it would not have run, even for those brief seconds. So what often happens, see this 99 times out of 100, we're just not getting fuel flow from that carburetor into the combustion chamber. So we're going to have to take this off and take a look at that carburetor, and hopefully it's a really easy, simple carburetor cleaning, and we'll get this back up and running. Okay, we're up on the table now so that we don't have to work on the floor. And let's go ahead and take that air cleaner box off. Air filter can come out. This little plastic plate can come out. And we got two nuts. They look like 10mm. Just a guess. We'll take them off. Okay. There's 1, 2, and this should slide off. Breather tube plugs into the back of it. Alright, so air cleaner removed. We're going to take off this carburetor. These spacers can come off. We're going to disconnect the fuel line. Problem is, fuel's going to leak everywhere. So I need to pinch it off, and I do that with a pair of vice grips like this. Let's see. That's probably good enough right there. All right, there's the clamp. And there's the fuel line. So we can slide this off. We got to disconnect the linkages here for the throttle. I might actually be able to get this. There we go. Alright. Carburetor comes off. Let's take it over to the bench. It's a little baby guy. Let's take it over to the bench and we'll look at it more closely. Alright, so over here on the bench, I tried to clean it off a little bit on the outside before getting here. And what I want to do is crack open the 10mm nut at the base of the bowl and see, drop the bolt, and see the condition in there. Alright, so let's let that fuel that's in there drain into our cup. Ooh, it looks like it's coming out dirty. Maybe not. And we'll take the bowl off. Not too bad in there, actually. Well, the fuel that came out is kind of brownish. So let's clean the bowl real quick. Seen a lot worse. All right. We're back here. Let's take off the float, removing this pin. The float and the needle come out. It's a rubber tip needle. Alright, so here's our main jet. This is where the all the fuel has to enter into the carburetor. Right there. And that can easily get plugged. That may be what's going on here. Let's see if we can take it off and Alright, I don't see the light of day shining through it when I hold it up to the light, but we got to clean this guy out. And let me just start with a pokey thing, needle type thing. And it's such a small hole that even this pin doesn't go through it. So we might have to find something even smaller. Maybe one of the bristles on this wire brush. There you go. That one's through. And I'm just kind of using the individual bristle just to scrape the inside of that jet. Because it can get clogged up with either debris or sometimes old fuel that kind of turns to varnish inside there. Okay, so that's pretty good. And we can spray through it with the carbon choke cleaner. I'm okay. Fat fingers is making it challenging. Alright, so that's good. We cleaned him out pretty well. And we can think about this carburetor here. And I don't know if that tube will come out very easily or not. I'm not too concerned about it because that's a much larger hole up through the center there, and I can clean it out with these small brushes. And some spray. Alright, that's good. While we're here, we're going to clean out this pilot jet here on the top. Can you see what I'm doing? See this guy right on the top? I might have to remove this idle speed limiter or throttle limiter, and that's just a screw that we can take out. I always like to see how many threads are sticking through on the other side so I can pretty much put it back in at the same spot. So he comes out of the way. Now I can get to this jet right here. And this, once again, is a very small hole in the tip of this. The holes on the side aren't so small, but the one coming up the bottom is small. So let me... And once again, I'm going to use a bristle on my wire brush to just poke through there. That's a small hole. Alright. We clean it out with the spray. That's good. I like that. I know that it's hard for you to see what I'm doing. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing. We could put him back in. And we can put this guy back in. All right. And a couple of threads sticking through on the other side. I'll leave it at that. I don't feel a big need to do much else with this carburetor, because we addressed the two most likely culprits. Make sure our inlet tube is also clear. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll blow it out a little bit with some air. And I think we can put it back together. Float and needle, pin, fabulous. Clean bowl. $10mm nut, bolt, whatever you want to call it, plug. Okay. You know, I think that's all it's really going to take. We addressed the areas that are most needed of cleaning, most likely to get plugged up, and I haven't been using my ultrasonic cleaner very much at all. Kind of gotten away from that, but I think that the cleaning we needed to do is done, and I'm probably going to get rid of the fuel that is in that thing because it's probably old. It's probably ethanol in it. That's what breaks down and clogs these things up. We'll put in some ethanol-free fuel, get this back on the machine, and you know what? I'll bet it's going to run again. Let's put the carburetor back on. The gasket is still up there. We slide it on the posts, and I'm going to try to get that throttle cable on there, throttle linkage, and also this hook. There we go, now we can slide it back. Let's get our fuel line on there. We can release the clamp. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that we got it all back together right and it's not going to leak on us. Then we'll get this clamp down there. Oh, it's tight. There we go. So far, so good. Alright, I'm going to watch that for a little bit, make sure it's not leaking. And then after that, when we're confident that that's good to go, we'll put the air cleaner back on and bolt this down. And got clean, non-ethanol fuel in there. And we'll put it back on the ground and see if it wants to run for us. I'll meet you then. And the moment of truth has arrived. Choke on. We've got fuel, we've got oil, and squeezing the bar, pulling the rope. That sounded promising. That was better. Didn't come to complete full action, though, did it? Yeah, something's not quite right yet. Should be running faster than that. So although we've made progress, I don't think we're there yet. plate's open, but it still seems like it's choking itself to death, doesn't it? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another edition of Buck's a Moron 101. So I took the bowl off the carburetor, and it became immediately apparent why I'm an idiot. You see a problem? You know why it's getting too much fuel? Because I did not put the jet back in. Such an idiot. No wonder it was flooding itself out and spitting fuel out the carburetor and running poorly. I forgot to reinstall the jet. What an absolute moron. You know what? And I am not too proud to admit it. And I'm leaving this clip in the video so that you will know that if you make a mistake, welcome to the human race, because we all do it. Man, that's stupid. You know, but as stupid as it is, I'm happy for the experience, because it obligated me to learn and grow, think through the problem more, try to understand what was going on, and now I know. Okay, there we go. Let's put it back together again. The jet's in, yay! All right, should work better now. All right, let's try this again and hope for a better result. Choke. And that, my friends, is how easy it is to fix an EDGER that won't start after sitting for a while. And of course, it's always a lot easier if you don't make boneheaded mistakes like I did. But we did learn what happens if an engine gets too much fuel, because that jet meters the flow of fuel. So forgetting the jet, too much fuel, ran horrible. So we learned something through our mistakes, which is always important. So thanks for joining me today. Whether it's an EDGER, pressure washer, lawnmower, the principles we applied today, they just are true across the board for any kind of small engine that doesn't want to start after sitting for an extended period of time. Your comments and questions are always appreciated in the discussion below. I do always appreciate hearing from you. Only you can put the do into do-it-yourself. So go do it. Have a great day.